Okay, it's Thursday morning, and I got down here at 6:30 in the morning. It's just before 7, and the sun is, you can't see it from the camera angle, but the sun is making its way down the mountain, so it's still dark down here. The air temperature this morning at 6:30 was about 42 degrees. The water temperature must be about 45 degrees. It's cold. I'm trying to get acclimated to the water. I've been stepping in it, but my feet are numbing to the point where I could stand it, but it's cold. The air temperature this morning is a little bit warmer. It was like 40 something yesterday, like 43. But I think the air temperature this morning was about 47. So, well, I say 47. It's about, it was 43 degrees, 45. But when that sun gets down here, it'll warm things up significantly quicker. Again, it's August 28th. I just felt the warm breeze. That's why I said it was 47. So anyway, I set up the blue bowl, or what I call it my blue black bowl, and you can't see it from the camera angle, but I'll show you later. I had sluiced a lot of the concentrate that I got from my sluice run in here, and it takes about 45 minutes for about 2 pints of concentrate to be sluiced down, and it sluices it down to about 1 pint. So I mostly have black sand and fine flour gold, and some of the choice nuggets that I've seen that look like gold, and some of the quartz with a lot of gold embedded in it. I throw it in here just so I keep it. It's like a safekeeping spot. But I have a new strategy. Instead of using my shovel to dig and then pour into my strainer, I've been filling up a bucket, so I can get a lot of material into the bucket, and then I can strain it all at once, or in quick succession, I should say. So that's been increasing my productivity. So I clean the sluice rack about 3 times a day, and then I pour it into the blue bowl. The blue bowl takes about 45 minutes to concentrate that down. By the time it's got that down, I'm almost ready to clean that again and put it in here. So I'll show you one of those cleanings too later on. So let me show you. I just filled up a bucket. Since the water is still too cold, that sun's going to hit that water to heat it up. Again, that water's about 45. My feet are numb. I wait for the numbness to subside before I walk across the street and get my strainer. But I guess I'm going to walk across right now. I'm wearing my glasses because I've also come to the conclusion that to get gold, you're going to have to look for the bigger stuff, not the flour gold. Let me show you up close what some of this gold looks like. So it's going to be, let's see if I could show it to you on the camera, but so let's see here. I'm not too good at this. You see that inside there? Where's the camera? Yeah, there we go. Alright, there it is. So, and you say, what's that black stuff in there? Well, I don't know, but it looks like a lot of the gold I'm getting seems to be, miners up here used to smelt, do their own smelting, and some of that black stuff was the what do they call it? The flux, the crux, whatever they call it, to separate the gold from any other impurities, including silver. So I think when they did their own smelting, the old timers, they were looking for quantity, and maybe they just tossed some of this stuff back. So I've been noticing that is prevalent. So I've been looking for that, and so my new strategy is not only do I get the raw material and put it inside of a bucket, the raw aggregate. Every scoop I take, I'm looking meticulously through that for this gold, and that's giving me more volume per time. So now I am counting on the blue bowl for concentrating the fine stuff, but it's more productive to look for the nuggets. So I would advise to look for nuggets. It's more, and nuggets are found in the creek bed. Now, this, if you look down here, this black bucket that I have, let's see right here, it's full of raw material right now. I got that digging from the shovel that's on the far bank. Let's see here if I could find it. You see right over there. Because my feet are too cold and that water's too cold. So I'm waiting for that sun to come down here and heat this water up. The water will heat up to 50-some degrees, and then I'll be able to jump in there and I'll show you how I fill up that bucket full of the sand at the bottom of that, basically that area I've been digging in. The clay area is somewhere around this side, but I've been concentrating somewhat in the middle. And that's where I've been finding most of these gold pieces. But it's kind of good for me digging up some of the side, because I want to see if the gold is uniformly. I've been finding two of these little specks inside this jar here for every bucket. So that's a big bucket. I'm normally getting half that bucket from the stream, because it's kind of hard to keep gold in the bucket as gravity and water is trying to empty the bucket. You have the bucket kind of tilted downwards, trying to use your hands and scoop all the material into the bucket. But I'll show you again later. So anyway, let's take a look and see how I perform here. I'm getting my strainer across the street. Put this down because I don't want to carry it over. I had one person yesterday, they were gazing for about 20 minutes. They didn't come down and introduce themselves. I don't understand that, but I was kind of leery of them at that point, because I thought, oh, that's kind of nice, they're gazing, but then they were gazing for 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to wear my glasses too, because to look at these specs, you got to be certain. So I don't want to miss anything. If I wasn't looking for specks and just looking for slate color, I don't need to wear the glasses. But to look for these specks, some of them are really small, but they add up. Alright, so here's what I do. Take the bucket, and I kind of like, over the last couple days, I've been fortifying my cofferdam. So I've been channeling the water through this main thing and over here for the blue bowl. But there is a little bit, but as you can see, a lot of this little tiny pebble river rock here, I've been, every time I strain, I make sure there's no gold and I toss it. So anyway, I take this bucket, I angle it down like this, I put the strainer below, make sure the bucket is tilted slightly over the sluice run, and then it's time to wash rock. Sometimes I spray some water up into it. There's so much rock in here right now. I'm going to hold off on doing it until I wash some of this rock down. So I'm just going to do this kind of fast. That'd be a dream to find a big gold nugget. Oh, I'm telling you. Dream come true. Then I would quit my job. If I could find it that easy. If I could find it that easy. Wow. So, normally I would have inspected this thing right now for gold. I'm not really inspecting right now. I'm getting the bucket to a point where it's kind of stable. It's kind of still top heavy, so I'm guess I push it back a little bit. All right. This bucket cost $2.97, and I'm definitely putting it through its rigors. I would definitely advise have a nice 5-gallon bucket like this. You can get the cheaper buckets. I've seen some for $1.88, but I really want one that I can put through the rigors. And this also allows me, after I'm done at the end of the day, to put all my belongings in, including my shovel. And there's a special way to carry a shovel inside of a bucket. You basically carry the bucket with a shovel under your arm. If you carry it any other way, the bucket will tip over. But definitely $2.98 worth its weight. Alright, so basically if you see no more like a dirty contrail coming from this, then you know it's clean. Alright, so basically I'm just taking out some of the big rock, inspecting them. Like some of this yellow quartz here, it's got a gold speck in it right there, but you know, how am I going to get that gold out? You know, so okay, I'll throw it in my. Here's something kind of funky, something wood, like something woven wood, or it's just wood. Weird. Oh well, I'm not saving ancient artifacts this trip. Another some kind of a pyrite or something. Beautiful colors though. Okay, so normally what I do is again take out some of the larger rocks. I can eyeball it. Gold again is unmistakably yellow. So then I just start pancaking a little bit. I'm looking for that bright, shiny yellow. That's what I look for. I mean, they say gold could be, especially the nugget kind, could be kind of dull, but I'm looking for the bright stuff. So I just pancake it a couple times. Again, this is the bank of the stream, and I don't have confidence that there's going to be gold nuggets in it. There's got to be more flour gold in the bank of the stream. So, but I just want to do one test bucket like this way to see. And I don't see any color. The next bucket will be in the stream. Alright. See a lot of orange quartz, but nothing. That's it. Alright, next bucket. Just washing rock. Washing rock and looking for that gold. Here's some more quartz with what appears to be something, but if I took every piece of quartz that had a little bit of gold color in it, I'd, you know, that's what I'm saying. If I had a rock tumbler on site here and I can crush the stuff, okay. Now I would crush it and feed the debris right in, the crushed rock right into this, see if it would catch it. Alright, so it's time to pancake. So I'm pancaking. Sometimes I'll just do a quick spreading and see if I can find any sign of gold. I don't see anything. So I'm going to pancake it again. Nothing. You would see it be unmistakably bright. When the sun comes out and it shines, definitely helps out. here's another rock. It's in color. So, but is it gold? Is it metallic gold? Or is it, I don't know. I guess I'll save it for later. Take a look at it. Sometimes if I could find the gold and scrape the gold off, I could add it to my little bottle. Takes about 10 minutes to set up the sluice run because this is all apart. I got to put it back together, and then that doesn't take really any time. Just put that down, weigh down the tubes with some rocks. All right, it's time to pancake. Now I'm betting that there's a lot of flour gold that was in this bucket that now is in the sluice run, and I can see all the ripples are full already with sand. Any gold. I'll show you the gold if I find it. When it's not coated in that black, it's had one side which is black, which makes me believe that it's from someone who's smelting the raw gold into nuggets. And that's just part of the flux that they use, and I guess they're just disposing of it, thinking that, hey, black, get rid of it. But they don't realize that one side's black and the other side's gold. So I don't see anything, which is a shame because normally with every scoop I do from the riverbed here, I'm getting at least one speck from every scoop, and 2 per bucket. Again, the buckets are not that much, maybe that much I get from the bottom of the river, so getting at least one. The good thing about this spot, and it's really important, is that my hotel room is only about 150 yards away. So if I have an emergency, which does not happen, but if I had one, it's very close by. 150 yards uphill, about 100 feet. Which I'll tell you, up here in the mountains at 8,000 feet, you don't realize it, but the air is half as thin as sea level, and it's a workout. Normally when I shift it like that, anything that's heavy with gold falls to the bottom. So the top rock I could almost slide off a little bit. I'm still eyeballing them because you never know, you could have that gold mixed with that carbon or flux or whatever they're using to concentrate. Those old miners used to use. There's again, I got this bruise from a mine shaft. I think the other day I was holding the camera with the light on, trying to climb down, and I slipped. I didn't want to drop the camera. So I realized how dumb that was, so I said, nope, I got out of there. So I looked at the video footage, you couldn't really see anything. wasn't worth keeping. But it was amazing though, looking at the walls and stuff. Doing some pancaking here, doing some flipping. I don't see anything. Again, when that sun comes down, that helps out. But now I have to admit, I am looking also for anything that's white that looks heavy, because rhodium is known to be in this area, not in great concentrations, but it looks like gold. It looks like that 6 or 7 pointed star. Some of the gold that I found yesterday would look like little drill, like it was like a spiral drill. And I found one white piece that was just like the gold I found, so I kept that. You know, rhodium is almost 5 times more expensive than gold. Not much. If I tried to scrape that, you could maybe scrape half of it. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Yeah, don't quit your day job. There's more money in this area selling sporting equipment or renting kayaks or being an employee. Like a bartender or a waitress at a casino here. Tons more money to be made. And they're hiring too. All the casinos here have hiring signs. They're hiring. Because they're just about to legalize table gambling. Once they do that, woo! It was dead. I just took a drive last night and then walked into 2 casinos just looking around. Free to park. The restaurants have good prices on food, so if you're hungry, but it was pretty, I mean, the casinos had some people in it, but compared to the weekend, the casinos here were pretty full. Again, people just playing machines. There's no table games allowed as of yet. There it is. I do some pancaking. My feet are frozen right now. They are frozen. Sun is still about 20 minutes away. Maybe 10 minutes if we're lucky. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of provisioning trucks that are provisioning the casinos are driving by that early in the morning. I can see how the old timers, there's a lot of like rock that they're almost white and square. Beautiful quartz like that. Or granite, I don't know. But I can see how they used to make dice out of this rock. Because sometimes I pick up these white things, I'm like, they're almost perfectly cube. I'm thinking, wow, nature did this. So I can see how a lot of the cubes were not necessarily made out of bone per se, but they were made out of quartz or granite. And they just made little indentations or just painted the surface with the numbers. I mean, that's just an observation of mine, but I can see it easily done. Time the pancake. And again, this is where I hope to find the gold when I'm pancaking, not necessarily on this or that. As I say, aim high, Air Force. Usually I'll go 2 or 3 times around to make sure. Some of the stuff could be gold, but hard to say. Doesn't have that gold luster I'm looking for though, so I'm gonna throw it back. Gold is unmistakable. You'll recognize it as soon as you see it. Nothing in this batch. Again, since some of the gold has black on one side, that's why you should go twice around at least. If the black side's facing you, you may not see the gold, but if you flip it over. Now, there's some gold, and I actually dropped a full gram of gold into these rocks here, and I've looked and looked, and it's like it fell into the abyss. I can't find it. It was a black piece of gold. Well, it's not. There was a black stone. It was black all over, but it had a couple gold streaks. So I started scraping away at it. It became more and more gold. I'm like, I'm saving the thing. I went for my bottle, picked up my bottle. I don't know why I did it right here. Opened the bottle up, was about to put it, a gust of wind blew it off, went right down in the cracks. I dug into the abyss. And these rocks are part of my dam. I don't want to just be moving them, so I was very disappointed. I definitely let out a screech at that point. Win some, lose some. I would say that half the flower gold that I catch on here, I lose on my blue ball. So the flower gold is just too light. It gets a little tiny current will get picked up and will exit because there's air molecules in the water too. It's not necessarily devoid of air. So that's why I'm thinking that gold and nitrogen have a weak affinity with each other for some reason. I don't know. But if the gold particle is small enough, somehow nitrogen is around it, it bonds with it. Well, not necessarily bond like covalent bond, but it has like a weak affinity or something. And that's why you see when you scoop up, like from under the water, I see this. I see like a plume of debris in the water. Then the gold kind of like doesn't like settle down. This fine flour gold doesn't settle down. It kind of like mists a little bit, and it's coming in contact with that air inside the stream, and it'll move like with the little kind of currents I'm making by the upwelling that's happening. It'll actually move, and it will actually float a little bit, not like on the top of the water, but it will float in the water. And when it hits this current coming through here, then it'll channel through, and eventually it'll get caught on this. Hopefully, well, most of it's probably flowing through the flour gold, but all right, doing some pancake in here, looking nice orange rock, but not gold. All right, nothing. 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 Panning for gold is like patting your hat with one hand and rubbing your stomach with the other one. Because I have to shake this with one hand and then look through the gold with the other one. I'm not sure if you're using both sides of your brain or one side of the brain doing this. There is some organic particulates from that side as well. That's why I like the stream. There is this freshwater red seaweed, but not so much here. It's upstream I've seen it, but I see a piece or two down here when I dig in the deep. That's not the living stuff. The living stuff normally grows right on the edge where it's exposed to the water and the air at the same time. That's where this freshwater red, I don't know what it's called, seaweed. Beautiful orange rocks, but not gold. Yeah. Nothing. I'm looking for rhodium too, but nothing. But shoring up the dam, every swing has to be productive. All right. Again, with this fine mesh, so if gold is smaller than this mesh, it will pass through it, which is fine. Gold that's fatter than this will be visible to the naked eye. So that's why I use this type of mesh. I'm getting to the bottom of the bucket, so chances are, in the stream for some reason, the bottom of the bucket doesn't hold the gold. It's the layers at the top are the ones that hold the gold. But on the bed of the stream, I find that the more gold's at the bottom of the bucket. strange reason. That's why. Let's see diddly. Okay, I can feel the sun hitting me. Good. It's almost 5 degrees warmer. Again, this is August 28th. It's still cold. It's still about maybe 49, 50 degrees out here right now. But that sun, it's helpful. I just need it to hit my feet. So I see the sun. It hasn't hit the creek yet, but it's right on the edge. So another 3 or 4 minutes, it'll start warming that water up. And that's about, I'm almost done with this bucket. Nothing. All right, now we're going to use the water technique. By the end of the day, at like 5 o'clock or so, whether the rain clouds come and shoo me away, which it rained 3 times yesterday. I stayed here during 2 of them. It wasn't that bad. It was just light sprinkles. But the third one that came, and I saw it coming, right now the skies are clear, horizon to horizon. In the mornings, it's been like that. It's been clear, beautiful. Around 11 a.m., the clouds start forming. And around 12 noon, you'll get your first shower. And then around 2 o'clock, you'll get a second one. And then the big one comes in the evening. They only last about 20 minutes. The one in the evening lasted maybe 30 minutes, but it was a big one. I'm surprised the creek level hasn't risen, because that one, it was raining pretty heavily. I saw it coming at around 4:55. I was actually done. I was waiting for the sometime around 4:15. I was done. But I was waiting on the blue bowl to concentrate. That took about 45 minutes. So I was just watching the blue bowl, trying to mix it up and get it concentrate. Looking at some of the specimens inside there. So I was able to pack up and walk back to my hotel room before the rain started. But just when I got back to the hotel room, no more than 5 minutes after that, it was pouring rain. I mean, rain was coming off the lodge, they call it. The lodge has like an alpine type of roof, and very steep gradient, and so the rain was just pouring off that roof. And I'm surprised that rain didn't make it into this creek and make this a raging torrent and destroy this dam. But again, everything outside this creek is dry. So the plants along the river here, they haven't made until there's a torrent. So all the other plants here they would suck up that water instantly. So that just goes to show that the water that rains, if it doesn't rain in the creek, it hasn't made it to a brook or something, the ground will just suck it up like a sponge. Right. At the bottom of the bucket, there's the heaviest dust. You can call it gold dust, because it is gold dust, microscopic, and it doesn't want to come out of the bucket, even when I tilt it like that with a lot of water. So you have to wash it repeatedly. All right, I see the sunlight has hit the creek. So that was a waste. So I just proved the fact that the bank may have flour gold, but it doesn't have the nuggets I'm looking for, so it's just a waste of time. So now's the chance to get my feet really cold. Anyway, let me take a break. I'm gonna let my feet warm up. I'm gonna turn the video off for now, and then I'll turn it back on. I'll fill up a bucket, and we'll sluice that. Well, this is my last day. It's Friday, August 29th. And this is Cold Creek, and believe me, it's cold. This morning when I got here, it was, I think the air temperature was somewhere between 43 and 45 degrees. The water temperature was about the same. Now, I mean, I got here around 6:30 in the morning, 6:15 actually, and I've been digging over here where my shovel is and making some buckets. I wanted to do that until the water warmed up. I think the water's warmed up to maybe about 50 degrees, but I'm still going to let it go for another, before I start working that again. I'm going to work the bank over here, just because my feet are now acclimated to being frozen and numb, but the rest of my body is not, so that's about 2.5 feet deep now. I don't want to really jump in there, but I see a lot of black sand I'm getting from this bank, and in the sluice run here especially, I see a lot of black sand, which is a really good indicator that there's a lot of flour gold over there. I've been finding little tiny specks of gold as well, and I've just been throwing them in my blue bowl. The blue bowl I have two hoses going. So I was running one hose yesterday because I was kind of fearing that I'd be losing gold. I took all the old concentrate and put it into a jar. So basically, of all the work I've had the last week, I only have 1 pint of concentrate. So I said, you know what, let me up the ante a little bit. So I've been basically taking some of the sand and dumping it in here, and then also running it through here, trying to do double work, or double my effort. And you know what? It seems that this flow with the sand from the bank seems to really be working over here. So I have not yet washed this tray into here yet, into my blue bowl. So my sluice run still has maybe about 3 buckets of this in here, and this has about 1 bucket of this inside here. So, well, anyway, let me fill up another bucket. Beautiful morning. See, some of this yellow stone here, it looks like gold, but this is center line from the road. So it looks like gold. It doesn't sparkle like gold, and I could easily break it. I wish it was gold, but if I put it in my blue bowl, it will probably float. So that's usually what I do to test it out. If it falls right to the bottom, then I know it's not gold. I'll let it sit there. heavy. Oh. Some of these rocks are just too big for the blue bowl, so I'm going to have to wash them in the sluice. Oh. All right, that's a workout. So, let's add some more of the blue bowl. Make you happy. I just saw a gold speck there. Alright, so like that. Put away in that. All those rocks, pretty much, I've been throwing the last 6 days. Periodically unclog the outlet here. As the sand backs up. No shame to put your glasses on because they do provide a benefit. They give you magnification, and it's always good to have a little more clarity. Just watching from time to time. So far I've had no spectators. I would say looking at the sun, it's about 7:30. It'll be going on 8, but I'd say 7:30. Our 2 cameras are just about full video. Later on today I'm going to take my metal detector, as well as tomorrow I'll take my metal detector and go over on some of the gold mine tailings. I tried to go yesterday, and just as I walked over there, I was just over there, just started to metal detect, and it started raining. I'm like, oh. So it's been like that. Right around 12 noon, the clouds will build up, and it'll like rain for like 10 minutes, it'll stop, and then around 2 o'clock, it'll do that again, and then 4 o'clock, and then right at 5 o'clock, I was done sluicing. I said, well, if it's going to rain like this, that's not a problem. And then it's been about 6 o'clock when I got over there. The skies opened up. I was like, oh, brother. I mean, it really rains. Oh, well. that's how it is in the mountains. I mean, the cloud will move, it'll just form right over the where you are, and then maybe the wind will push it away, maybe not. Maybe it will rain out. Rain will evaporate before it hits the ground. Well, it's yellow, but I don't think it's gold. Let's put in the blue ball, see if it floats. Yeah, it's floating. Okay, that's it. Get kind of full. Give it some time to work some of this stuff down. It doesn't take long, to be double swing like this. Oh, I saw it go for a second, but no. And when you see that kind of stuff in your strainer, it is prudent to stop and check, because, as I always say, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. And my bush would be my blue ball, and have to basically rediscover it as a double work. So you see it, grab it when you can. Take the definite. Some of these rocks though are just, they're like, the sun hits them in such a way, you can swear they're gold, but they could be copper. You know, it's very close. Another good one. I have to stop and look. Close. It could be gold. Let's see. Ball? Close. I don't know. That was weird. It could have been gold with air, because it was like, it was jagged. But it was floating, but then it hit. I don't know where it went, but I filled the blue bowl. We'll see. And so just a little bit of air with gold sometimes makes gold float. It's like a concrete bridge. They make bridges out of concrete which should sink, but because they got air underneath them, they'll float. It's just weird. Oh, here's another one. Oh, this is a good scoop. I don't remember where I dug over there. This looks like another false positive. And it's yellow. And it floats.
pancakey. Yeah, the blue bowl's got enough material to last for a couple, maybe 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. Milking. I haven't really fortified the dam much after I opened up that other passage to let water out. The water level is has gone down a little bit since last night, but I see it starting to edge up again because I guess some of the rocks I'm throwing, I am slightly fortified. Every time I throw a rock, it gets into a crevice and prevents the water from running. So. Gold, when I wash it like that, if it's heavy, it'll pretty much fall to the bottom here. So the gold is heavy, but if it is gold, then I should be able to just scrape off the top, just briefly check it to make sure there's no gold. And then when I get it down to a manageable level, now I got the sun helping out, so now it's going to be twice as fast. I'm just pancake like that. Anything golden, sparkling at me. I mean, see, that was sparkling, but that's just like some kind of plastic. I mean, if I could find diamonds too, that'd be great. But I doubt it. Diamonds float on water, so it's an easy way to test if it's a diamond or not. Just throwing all my spent sand over here, raising it up a little bit, and also making it nice and smooth so I won't step on anything jagged. Spin it twice around to make sure. I'm trying to scan back and forth. Some of these things look like it's too light. Look like copper from a distance, but copper's pretty heavy too. I'm always looking for that black type of rock again that's got gold streaks in it. So I see that same type of rock, I
I flip it over to make sure there's no gold streaks. But again, I couldn't find that when I dropped into the crevice here. We're looking. I dropped so much aggregate on top of it, that area already, so it's useless. That's just how it is with gold mining. You win some, you lose some. It's a give and take. Sometimes, again, I'll have a lot of concentrate here, and when I clean it in there, half it will go away, especially the flour gold, which is pretty much what this area is renowned for. The thing is that there's so many mining operations about 6 to 10 miles north of here, and they feed into Cold Creek, that they're basically doing the pulverizing of the rock and allowing that flour gold to come downstream, and they're doing it 24/7, some of these operations up there. So they're dumping their spent rock or whatever, and it's flowing into the streams. So they're helping they're digging into caves, into mine shafts, bringing it up to the surface, and then microscopic gold from them is then entering the creek. So they're helping to replenish the gold too. Well, it looks like I found microscopic gold. I don't know why I have to waste my time here, but I'll just put it in the blue bowl, see what happens. But it was shiny when the sun hit it. It was shining so big, and it was very flat, like a very thin, flat rectangle. But after I got it was stuck to some quartz. After I got the clear quartz removed from it, and it was like practically invisible, but it still was gold, so I know it wasn't mica. It was gold. It still had a gold color, even though it was flat and almost, and it was micro thin. But it was still golden color, so I know it was gold. And it seemed to have dropped, kind of floated a little bit, but it did hit the bottom of the blue bowl. So I basically just scan like a Z, and I keep on doing that as I'm rapid fire. I'm kind of letting my peripheral vision do a lot of the looking too, because it seems to catch things almost faster than my frontal vision for some reason. I don't know.
trying to think what ancient artifacts I could find up here. Besides like fossilized seashells, which I could swear I'm seeing a lot of those rocks. They must be a couple 100 million years old. They look like seashells. Recent ancient history, like anytime in the last 3,000 years. I don't know what. Like this rock looks a little like a shark's tooth, but not. I don't know if there is any recent ancient history that you can find here. Like in Georgia, you can find, like in the streams, musket balls, you find flintlocks. The wood of the gun has already been deteriorated, but yeah, see that's more center line of the road. Probably floats. Oh yeah. Let me give the blue bow a little more. Sometimes grass, I don't know why, but gold sticks to the roots of grass. I don't know, maybe grass just likes it or something. I don't know. So you got to respect it sometimes. It's pretty muddy. It's not necessarily good to get with that sense. Just it looks muddy. You have to get that back in order. When shaking it like this, the gold goes to the bottom. So I really don't have much to worry about scraping the top off like this. All the gold flake would have already gone through the screen, except for the stuff that's obviously larger. See that yellow thing there? It looks like more center line. This is the gold. Well, can you drop it in? Come on.
Yeah, it's very light. It's not big. Usually, when I get down the bottom, you see the gold stuck on the groove. This way. When I actually shake it like pancakes in the stream, then the gold could shake around. But normally I've seen it still sticks to the bottom. It's gold. It's heavy. I haven't seen that many gold nuggets, but the one little tiny specks that I've seen, they do stick in the screen. Alright, well, that has enough in it right now. And I'll go back over here. It's faster production over here, so. Okay. I want to show you how to put together your sluice. It's important that you put it together correctly so it catches gold correctly. The first thing you put on is the undermat, and this is a three-part sluice. So it has these wing nut washers that basically, you know, both the front and the back. This one, this is the front. This kind of like tape here that was two-sided tape, and it had like a rubber mat with grooves in it. I lost that, but that's okay. It's not necessarily important. It will still catch gold with that. But anyway, what is important is that the flow of water comes this way down, because this has to overlap the aluminum, and so down here, see how the aluminum, this part is raised above this part. So when the flow of water comes, the water falls down, so the gold won't backwash through there. So just make sure that when you unfold this, which I did, you make sure these are tight, because you don't want any space between here and here, or else there will be an eddy that'll take the gold out. So make sure the bolts are tight. Now, you put the under stuff down. This is the lowest, you know, the stuff that goes down, and you want to make sure. See how it's like a real tight mesh here in the bottom, and it's kind of like fuzzy on top. The fuzzy stuff should go on top, because that's how it catches the gold. It touches it in there, so gravity will pull it down. And then you also have an undermat. Now I know this goes here, not here, because this little notch coming in is made for the wing nut, so that's easy to remember how to put it together. And then it goes this again. This is kind of like a hard, more solid, and this is more porous. So the more porous side goes up. So this, and I know it goes here because this winglet area was made for that. So that can go on like that. Now some people would put it down a little ways. I think there's a hole right here too, but that's okay. It goes on like that. Now this again, so this will go here again, lining up with the hole, and then this would go on top of that, lining it up. It's just sticking with it. Now I covered this in a previous video, but be careful with these, because even though after you wash them, if you've been gold mining before, there's still fine gold in them, so you don't want to like try to wash them. Even inside my bucket here, you can see there's like a speck of dirt down there. That's all gold. This bucket was clean 10 minutes ago before I put these mats in there. So that's all fine gold or black sand down there, so definitely don't want to lose that. Next thing that goes on is your, what do we call these? Ripples? I don't know what they're called, but this one actually goes here. It's a little narrower, and this one goes here. Now, line them up a little bit better. It should be over the moss. This is, I guess, what they call miner's moss. So as long as it, you know, it's there and here, you know, that's fine. Now you put the hydro ripples on, and again, one of these is a little bit wider than the other one.
So yeah, this is the more narrow one. So the narrower one will go in the middle, and the longer one will go over here. See, it goes right down there, and that goes right down there. And then you just take your wing nuts, put them together. Now, these are bad. I actually lost the original wing nuts. They should tighten down all the way, but these are just. I went into a hardware store and got them just to have some. But just tighten them down as much as you can. Whew. All right, you're ready. You're ready to put this in the river. So let's do it. All right. So it's pretty light. It's aluminum. So I'm at Cold Creek, about 30 miles west of Golden, Colorado, and it's about. You see, there's my blue bowl. I just set that up. I'm using 2 streams of water. That's actually a little bit more than I would recommend. 1 full stream coming out of one of these pipes would be more than enough to sort the down to black sand. Basically what you want to do is you want your concentrate to be concentrated down to black sand using this technique. And then if you have a spiral wheel will then concentrate it down further, because you can be more granular with a spiral wheel. This leaves a little room for loss. Now there's different types of blue bowls. I'm not going to get into that right now. This blue bowl I made for $1 with an oil pan and a funnel. I basically just glued the funnel to the oil pan and then drilled a hole in the middle of the oil pan and the bottom. So, but for $1 for these 2 parts at a garage sale, and I spent, just for the glue, I spent $12 for the glue. I tried first silicone, that didn't work. I would not recommend silicone to bond those 2. For one, silicone takes about 24 hours, and still it's kind of like a spongy connection. It doesn't really bond correctly. So I went out and bought $5 contact cement, like Crazy Glue, and the XL strength Crazy Glue, and it bonded within 4 hours, and there's no leaks whatsoever. So I can fill this thing with water. I can look in the middle, and there's no leakage. So and with the $5, I only use half the bottles, and I use generous amounts. So it's really good. So anyway, we're gonna try just sluicing with the blue bowl early this morning, because it's just way too cold to jump in this water. It's about maybe between 43 and 45 degrees air temperature right now. The water temperature, I already stuck my foot in there. It is cold. I wouldn't believe that it's. I wouldn't doubt, I should say, that it's somewhere between 40 and 43 degrees. This water. And getting in that water over there, which is where I really want to dig. That's gonna have to wait till about maybe 9 a.m. when the sun comes over the horizon and starts warming this area up. So it's about 6:30 in the morning right now. I got here about 6:15, and I just wanted to get down here because, well, for one, it looked like it was going to rain. I wanted to get out here early, get some video in, and so anyway, let's set up our. See, this water is still like a bunch of knives digging into me with my feet. All right. So. And you don't have to position this perfectly. You just have to have a nice, even stream going down. So, the water level of this creek is pretty good. It's pretty high. We're getting a good stream across the sluice, and so we could lose some water. It's not a big deal. I am going to put some rocks underneath here to plug it up, but. As long as we have a nice flow, but a nice, elevation too. So that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take rocks like this and just, try to plug it up. So maybe I'll move it back a little bit. I shouldn't have moved that. Okay, here we go. We're just going to do it like that, and we're going to, no, that's not going to plug it. Use a little bigger rock. Let's see. good thing about a creek like this, you have plenty of rocks to choose from. What do we got there? Let's see, what about this rock? A little too big. Let's see. Actually, this was a good one. That's a little big. No. Well, I got plenty of rocks to choose from here. See, I want a kind of a long rock, long, like a hot dog. Like this. Perfect. So that's blocking the flow of water underneath the sluice, so it's raising the water up again. And I could probably tuck in some more rocks in there just to try to kill that water flow. It's a little too big, but perfect. So that'll back up the water a little bit more. It'll make the water rise a little bit more. You get even more flow of water down here. Now, one thing that I see is I want kind of like the water to be in the middle here, and I'm seeing that the water is over to this side, which means that it's listing this way. So I'm going to have to raise this up to get the water in the middle. So probably it's due to these rocks here. Hold on. This rock may be, well, maybe not. But anytime you see that, you want this to be in the middle, which means that you have to raise it like this. See how that went away now? So I'm going to have to adjust this somehow to get that. Looks like I'm going to have to put a rock in the middle there. All right. Oh, that's not big enough. Let's see. What we got? What other rocks can we shove in there? Let's see. That didn't really solve that problem. Let's see if I just... No. Let's see, a little bit, but alright, so I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna still raise it up here a little bit. I'm not getting enough water through, but you know what? I'm gonna have to just run with it like that. We'll run with it like that for now, and then we'll reevaluate it. It's probably because maybe this is blocking the water a little bit. All right. I like rock building. Well, I don't like it. More water is coming down this side than this side. And also, this is popped up like that. Well, can't do anything about that. Maybe if I put a rock here, let's see what happens. That actually works partly. It's deflecting the water towards the middle. Let me see if I get a bigger rock and try to do the same thing. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so I'm gonna get started. First, I'm gonna grab a bucket and a shovel. Now, since the water's too cold, here's my gold guzzler. I'm gonna bring that down there too. I put all my nuggets in there. All right, so okay, my feet are frozen, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work the bank over here until the sun rise comes over the valley and hits that creek, and then some of the rocks will warm up and it'll exchange that heat to the water, and the water will warm up. So I recommend this shovel because it's multi-purposed. You just put this gold guzzler in a spot where it'll be handy, usually when I'm sluicing. All right, I'll put it right over here. because that's where I'll find the gold specks. I could suck them into that bottle. All right, so this is a hole I dug. I was just testing this bank yesterday, and I wasn't finding, it's just flake gold. Usually flake gold is on the bank. The nuggets would be in the stream, but you just never know. There could have been an old bank here, and it could have, the stream bed could have been over here. So there could be some nuggets if you dig down deep enough. But normally the upper layers like this will just be the eddies, and the eddies will have just really the flake gold. So that's pretty much what we're going for, flake gold, digging this hole here, and let's see what we get. All right, I'm gonna turn this off, and I'll show you in a minute after I get this going. I gotta use 2 hands to dig. All right, so then. Tons of center line. Center line? Yeah, it's too late. I don't know, some people would say, why don't I just dump the whole bucket into it, let the sluice handle it. Just get a bucket, dump it, get a bucket, dump it. Well, I could do that. Yeah. I may try that at the end, but if I do dump stuff in there, then the black sand will just, it'll take off. And right now, I'm washing this rock to a point where if there was any gold nuggets, I should be able to see them. And this I can clean in the blue bowl, and it makes the process of getting at least the flour gold concentrate down to a science. I'm going to have to bring this concentrate back to Fort Myers, where I have my spiral wheel. That'll actually do the final cleanup.
The nice thing about Georgia is that it's so close by car, about 10.5 hours nonstop. That I could, if I go up there with like a Toyota Tacoma 4Runner, I could put my pressure washer in the back, and my spiral wheel, and my Blue Bolt, and my sluice, and I could do. If I could bring a battery with me, I could bring my spiral wheel out, 12 volt. Or hook the wire up to the car battery, it doesn't matter. Then I can do everything on site. The good thing about having a car next door is that I can put a inverter and recharge my phones, and bring a laptop and download. So it's really convenient. But unfortunately, here in Denver, I don't live here, and I don't have that luxury. If I ever come back next time, I'll be better prepared. There's one spot I would like to go gold mining, and that's in Mindanao in the Philippines. I'd love to go there. I've been told stories that a couple of volcanoes just on the east coast of Mindanao, some of the streams are flowing down. There was that bogus gold mining video on YouTube that showed people pulling up big gold pieces like that big. Wow, I mean, easy too. I don't think that there's any truth in that. But if there was truth in that, it'd be worth it just to take a week vacation to Mindanao, and then you could retire just after that one vacation. And when I say retire, it looked like they were pulling up about 40 pounds of gold. So, I mean, do the math. 40 times 12 ounces in a pound. So that's 480 times 2,000. So you're looking at about $1 million. And in the United States, you wouldn't be taxed on that, because gold mining as a passive operation, passive activity, is not taxable. Question is how to get the gold out. Well, I guess you could always charter a boat and plane, because it'd be too heavy to take on a plane. They would probably flag you. Still, with $1 million, go back next month and try it again. I changed cameras because the other camera kept on cutting off. I don't know why. But anyway, I loaded up the Blue Bolt with some material. I'm thinking about putting another hose to get a third hose going, because the water that I have going in there right now is just not it's not too powerful enough. Either I have to move the Blue Bolt down a bit to a lower place so the gravity will help the flow, or maybe I can reposition these up a little higher. So I was thinking if I just add a third hose, I might push the Blue Bolt back a little bit, so that will be down a little bit, maybe an inch, and then the hoses, well, it's easy, they could reach that extra inch, so we'll see. I'm looking at the camera because I'm worried that camera's going to drop off. The other camera had a nice rubber hold protector on it. This one doesn't. So this is just bare plastic on metal. So the wind is blowing, it's blowing this way, and I always keep on looking at that camera because if it falls, it could easily crack. Don't want that happening. Alright, so time to adjust the Blue Bolt. Move that. Move those. The water out. And I'll move over here. flowing the way I want it to flow, but we'll see. It's going to rise over a gradient. Although I'm looking at the water flow right now, it's flowing actually really good. You see the gold is climbing up the cone, and the bad stuff is flowing out, and the gold is staying in. So this may actually work like this. Make sure that this flow is secure for a lighter rock. Just let it go like that, see what happens. And then sometimes what I do is I just mix it up sometimes, see what will happen. Good job. Alright, here's my shovel. I don't recommend bringing a dog here, or although a dog would be good to keep an extra set of eyes out, to bark if an intruder's around. But it's just an extra distraction. But if you're in an area that it's either quasi, you're unsure about, then having a dog around, a dog that's not going to run around, so you have to keep on tending him, but a dog that will be silent and just keep an eye out, that would help out big time. And I see, I just pulled up some mud here, some clay. So that clay layer would prevent gold from going deeper than that. Gold gets stuck in the clay, but it would prevent it from going deeper. So that, I don't know if it's a good sign or not, but that could be the reason why I'm finding a lot of gold on top. See all that black clay mud. Looking at the blue ball, it's doing pretty good. See, I was contemplating, not good. Don't contemplate. Ooh. This is back-breaking work. I envy those people down there with the power tools, able to sleep in the back of their cars, 5 feet off the creek, power tools doing all the work, just sitting back, probably surfing the internet. That's the modern day gold mining. Surf the internet and let the power tools do the work for you. Now in Colorado, you're only allowed a maximum of a 4-inch dredge, and there's, in Clear Creek at least, there are making a lot of pedestrian, like walking, hiking zones along the creek, so they're really restricting access to gold miners. You can fish, you can bicycle, you can jog, you can walk, you can even rock climb, but which I see a lot of. The sad thing about rock climbing in the Rockies here is that you'll hear it, at least one ambulance a day coming for a rock climber that's fallen. Sad. But some of these rocky cliffs look just so inviting. I mean, if you're a rock climber, I mean, you don't have to go far off the beaten trail. I'm just, some of these rock cliffs go vertically 90 degrees. Most of them go 80 degrees, maybe 70, but right here along Clear Creek, like you look at these are about 70 degree angles, but closer to Golden, Colorado, more like 80% is the norm. And some of them actually hang out towards the road. So I wouldn't want to park my car along the edge of the road, knowing that any little rock slide could put at any minute. Normally rock slides though, you're only worried about when it's raining. So high winds, a little bit, but fire maybe on a rock slide. But a sunny day like this, just light breeze, there's going to be very little rocks falling down. I mean, true, there could be like a lizard that touches a little stone, causes it to fly, which escalates, hits another little stone, causes that to fly, hits a boulder, causes that to fly. So yeah, you will have stuff like that happen, but that's rare. Or birds flying, will touch a little stone and cause a little slide, but little slides. They have some boulders though that are about 40 tons. They look the size of a bus that come rolled down. And luckily they didn't hit anyone. Again, you want to fortify your dam. You don't want to waste the effort, because I'll probably be back out here tomorrow since it looks so promising. And the next day, as long as it doesn't rain. The thing is that you got to clean these things often, because this gold is, probability, it is washing out. There's nothing stopping coin gold from going out. It's a numbers game. The more you dig, the more probability gold you'll catch. You still will lose some. I mean, there's so much gold around here right now that if I could properly like get one of those sluicing machines that you see in the Yukon, those river barges that have big sluicing operations. I mean, I bet this area was sluiced at least, probably late 1800s as well as the early 1900s. And but the gold has replenished already. It's like seashells. When a storm hits on the Gulf, I'm from Fort Myers, and I know for a fact that you can pick all the seashells off the beach, all the good ones, but there's good seashells under the sand that the high tide has now overturned the beach and covered it. But right after a storm or the next day, that sand is turned over and there's more seashells. And out in the Gulf of Mexico, there's billions of seashells. So if you really want something good, I mean, you can find it. Same thing with gold here. On all these banks, behind all these trees, underneath the trees, everywhere, all the crevices, up and down the mountain slopes here, there's gold. A lot of it. Not just on the surface. Half a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 10 feet, 50 feet down. I mean, it's a ton of it. Because these rock layers have been folded and folded and folded and folded. There could be 3 or 4, maybe 200 to 300 feet of gold-bearing ore. And of course, we're not even getting down to the mantle where all the liquid gold is. But it's time-consuming to get. So, I mean, look at platinum. In 2010, it hit its heyday. It was like $2,700 an ounce. And people stopped using hard drives and went to solid-state drives, and they stopped using DVDs or Blu-ray and started just using Netflix or watching it online YouTube. The price of platinum fell because you don't need platinum for the platters on CDs, Blu-ray, and they found new technologies to make mufflers without using platinum. So now platinum is what, $900 an ounce, troy ounce. So 1/3 of what it used to be. Only 10 years. And concentrated. You can see all that really dark clay, and because I'm washing it like this, there used to be a little mat here, a little rubber mat, and that was really good at catching gold, and that would actually force the water up instead of getting stuck underneath. But it came loose. And you know what? You put it down, you walk away. A day later, you come back to fix it, and you're like, "Where did I put it?" Yeah, I see it. I see behind the camera there is a car looking. Most of the traffic on this road are going to the casinos. There's like, between 40 and 50 casinos down the road there. Black Hawk, I think, is about 7 miles away. And there's like 20 casinos just in that area. Colorado legalized slot machine gambling all over the state, but I don't know why. I guess people like coming here, so they take the 30 or so mile drive. And that's not the end of the gambling. It keeps on going another 20 more miles. Don't forget the communities that are beyond Black Hawk, but they allow gambling too. That's where you're going to find your real gold. You can open up a casino. They haven't legalized tables yet in this area, but once they do, this area is going to explode. Because Denver itself, the amount of people moving from all over the United States to the Denver area is just astronomical. The construction boom that's going on. Just to get acclimated to the area, I drove all around south and north, and the older communities are not necessarily rejuvenating. It's just that there's a lot of new communities that are coming up, so it's sprawling. There's still a lot of farmland. Well, not in Denver, but there's a lot of farmland on the periphery. So you'll never be at build out per se. You can keep on sprawling if you're a city, but Golden, Colorado's got a lot of nice property. If you're looking to buy something up in the mountains, the problem is winter and snow. So if you don't mind 6 feet of snow, 4 months of the year, then it's all right. But a lot of people in this area, they're taking up bicycling, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of bicycle trails too. A lot of old railroad lines have been converted into, I guess, exercise pedestrian paths. And I see a lot of bicyclists on them. I think if you're going to open up a business here in Denver, I think the best business would be an electric bike business. Because I see people with their heroic 10 speeds, or whatever they are now, 28 speeds or whatever. And they're doing a great job. The thinner the tires, the less friction you have with the surface of the road, so the more force you have. But some of these little hills are actually big hills. And these big hills are really big, so I don't know how bicyclists, you might be able to go a mile or two and then turn around and come back. And that's I walked up to my lodge, I had to walk up 100 feet or maybe 150 feet. And I was winded. So, you gotta be in shape, that's for sure, to bicycle in this area. But for e-business, e-bike business, I would think that you can pedal if you want, or switch it to E to get up the hill and then pedal down the hill, or if you're on a flat surface, you can pedal. So yeah, fortifying this area here there's still a lot of water flow going through. I can't dam up all the water, but I can see that the water line has grown outwards a little bit on both sides. So I know there's more and more water being backed up. So as long as the flow of water is going to the blue bowl, which looks pretty good. For a second there, I thought I saw a big gold nugget here, but no, this is just yellow quartz. Now, there is some tailings at the end of the sluice run, and I'm kind of curious to see if any gold is in it. Looks kind of interesting. They always say you should do that. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to re-sluice your tailings. In fact, I think it's a good practice. You just never know. Let's do one more scoop. see any gold, but never know. It's looking pretty good here. I don't see gold per se. Normally the gold would be up in your first or second rungs, but because I don't have my wing nuts on here, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I took off my wing nuts to clean this last night, and I found at least a gram, if not two, of gold. And then I got too excited. I thought I put them on the dresser next to the front of the TV in my hotel room. I don't know. I went out shopping last night looking for the power dredge at some of these big stores. At Harbor Freight, I was able to find an electric 12-volt pump, but it doesn't fit onto the. I brought a pressure washer gun and hose, and the 12-volt pump, which can only do 5 gallons a minute, which is really, you really need between a minimum of 10 gallons a minute to do proper PSI. But I mean, it would do a nice little vacuum, but it uses garden hose attachments. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to spend $80. Actually, it was on sale for $60. It was a good price, but then I gotta buy $20 for I got $55 for a battery from they had some there. Napa Auto Parts has some good prices on batteries. I'm looking over at the Blue Bowl, so it has the flow of water has increased, and so I guess the shoring up I did here was pretty good, and it's almost done with that pile that I stuck in there. So we're gonna stick some more in there. We're going back over here, my favorite gravel area. Another thing about having a dam, this could have been exposed when the dam wasn't here, and the gold settled out because the flow of the current has eddies. So the eddies will push the gold, and gold will settle on the side eventually, and the water flow will go through. At least the lighter gold, the heavier gold, or the gold that's got air cavities in it will keep on flowing until it hits some kind of obstruction or lack of, down by Denver Central, where the it starts the Great Plains. Then there's no more steep gradient, let's put it that way, so the gold will settle out. But even down there, Clear Creek, even before it hits the Platte River, even the Platte River, during season, those rivers are raging torrents. So gold is replenished. The eddies that create these little sandbars or banks, they're turned over. So, just like finding seashells, every day is a new opportunity. Same thing up here. You can have gold miners up and down this creek every day, and there's still gold to be found. That's how much gold there is. Could use some more water flow. Yeah, the water flow is working good, but it's not as good as this water flow here. Just taking up some of the obstructions and letting it allows the water to flow through a little better. Filling in some of the holes that were
letting the water seep through.
And the camera has not fallen off the tripod. Excellent. Now sometimes you have to keep an eye because the blue bowl could, I see there's a nice water flow going in there right now. Nice. It could fall. There is a lot of dirt that goes through the middle here, and it's, I see the tailing trail is coming out. Same thing here. The water is pushing it, pushes against this aluminum solution tray, and it's pushing it downstream slightly. Or sometimes the weight of the water will push it down, even though I do have my two lug nuts that are holding the thing together, but they don't hold the other things on. They're just held on right now by a little bolt that's sticking up. So that's okay. I got good water flow. Someone had come through here last night. Must have been stepping on rocks or throwing them, moving them, and they moved this big one, but they made a perfect avenue for the water to come rushing through. So I just filled in some of the areas where it needed to be filled in, and now it's perfect. And then over here, the same thing. This is where I had my blue bowl yesterday, and it was working fantastic. But I had the hose up here in this area, and I had 3 hoses going, and I had my blue bowl over here and 3 hoses. Every day it changes. Unless you leave it like this overnight and it doesn't rain, and there's no pedestrians that, people that walk through here and decide to say, oh, free. So the blue bowl's going really good. It's nice and balanced. There's a little overflow on that side, but that's not going to cause the stuff in the middle to overflow. Just the lighter material will flow on the boat. It's still staying down inside there. And it's done. It's ready for me to add more. So it's working as fast as I can work, and that's how you want it. You want it to work as fast as you can work. And eventually I will be pouring everything, all the concentrate that I have, gotten from all these and what's still in this bucket. And there's still about a pint left in there. I'll stick it in there. The gold that I've actually found, I have in my little suction bottle. And then I also, my suction bottle here, and I also have a little jar of pure gold. It's small, definitely not an ounce yet, but I'm working on it. So before I sluice this, I want to take off as much as I can. So I want the water to help sluice it for me. So I just want to take out these rocks. Yeah. And then if I move my hand over this, a lot of that black sand will flow down. So yeah, you want to do as much cleanup as you can with the help of Mother Nature as possible. Remember, gold is so heavy that it should, each one of these ripples, you don't want them clogged. It causes an eddy, it causes the gold to go underneath and then get sucked in and embedded into the, I guess they call it the miner's moss. So, of course, if I was worried about gold falling out, I would scoop up some of the tailings and redo it. So it's flowing. So the stuff that I loosened up here is flowing down to the next rung. They're going down. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to up backwards because water was only meant to flow in one direction, so that was actually bad. I probably lost the boat by now. Just put it in the bucket like so. This is how I would do it. Splash it. And so, wish I had my little pressure washer. Alright, we have that. Most of the gold is going to be in this and this. So here you're going to find most of your black sand on the top and inside these rungs. Most of the gold is going to be, to tell you the truth, most of the gold is going to be on this green layer. But I even see a piece staring at me. Piece right there. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing gold flakes. I know they're not fool's gold. Fool's gold, like, weighs just slightly more than water, so it really floats. When you agitate the water, that mica fool's gold, it floats. It spins around and then it comes right out. Trying to clean it up. You don't have to get it perfect because you're going to put it right back together and you're going to put it right back to work. So you want to really do this as fast as possible. Stop contemplation time, stop doing that. But you want to be gentle with it so you don't, I see some gold right there. Again, try to be careful because you get gold dust in your hands, so wash your hands over the bucket. Good. So you know how to put that back in the stream. So now that the black thing with piece of rubber with little rungs on it that I lost, that always goes where the intake of the water is. So the water flows like that. And because the aluminum overlaps, you want the aluminum overlapping so the gold doesn't go underneath it. So basically, just do the best to rinse these. To tell you the truth, rinsing these, the fine gold, after you rinse it, is still in here. The best gold is still stuck in here after you rinse it. So you just gotta be really careful washing these things and rinsing it. It's yeah. I'm still amazed. I bought this blue ball for $1 at a garage sale. I had some people look down here. It's okay. They saw the camera, they saw me talking, so they didn't want to be part of the motion picture, I guess. You gotta be careful with this, make sure you don't rip it. But I could feel this is still laden with gold. I don't know what it is with gold, but it seems like when gold comes in contact with the air, I think it's nitrogen. Gold dries really fast. I don't know what it is, but it seems like gold and nitrogen have some kind of a anti-water property. Yeah, see, I see gold there. I see gold dust there in that mat. Still. So, I'm just wondering if that gold was from North Georgia. It can't be from North Georgia. I scrub these mats. I have a spiral wheel at home, and I scrub these things literally, washing them with. You're supposed to wash it with soap. The gold cleans better. I didn't bring the soap out today. I didn't want to ruin the creek. So, but you're supposed to, you know, that dishwasher anti-streak stuff. You're supposed to actually put that in this. I can see there's gold everywhere embedded in this, even after I washed it. So you definitely have to use that dishwasher. I think it's called Finish, and that will help. Makes the water more wet, so the water can wash better. So, this one I think goes down here. This thing is laden. When I get back to the hotel room, that's what I'll do. After a day, I don't have the dishwasher detergent, but I have a generous supply of shampoo. So. All right. So it doesn't matter really which side these go on here. They'll work anyway. Just make sure that goes on where it should go. And this goes on where it should go. And then these are, so one go one way. I think that one goes there. This one goes here. Looks about right. Just make sure your bolts are tight. Back into production. Be careful of that stone. You're going to lose gold, but nothing you can do. Got a nice water flow. Oh, this thing's heavy. Can't believe I got to carry this up 150 feet to the hotel room. Oh man. So. Pour out the excess water. Just be careful. Gold. Oh, there's a dead bead. Oh. Gold will float. Gold. Some gold specks. You know, gold is not like perfectly spherical. It has cavities, and if air can get in there, I'm thinking this nitrogen thing. A little bit of nitrogen with gold. Gold, maybe what, 16 times heavier than water or so. But with one drop of air. And that could bring it down to a 5. I mean, practically float. So you got to be careful. I wouldn't worry about. You're going to lose extremely fine gold because it's bound to that, you know, very fine suit, nitrogen or whatever. But like I see fine gold floating in the water there. Could be mica, could be fool's gold, but it's probably real gold there. I think. There's no way you're going to catch everything. Whether you lose it here or you lose it sluicing somewhere else, you just it looks like some copper's floating right there. It's going to go over the edge. Oh, there you go. See, there's more. I'm not sure if that's mica or fine gold. It looks like it's fine gold, but you're going to lose it. So this now has to go in that blue bowl, which I'll do a little bit later. Right now the blue bowl is doing its thing, and this is doing its thing. Let's get back to doing my thing. All right.